Hi everyone, Borutonegz is back with another video. In today's video, I'll cover the infamous matchup of Itachi versus Minato, and to be precise, the forms I will use for this video are Sick Itachi, the one who fought against Hebi Sasuke, and Hokage Minato, the one who fought against Ym Obito. Let's start the video by scaling Hokage Minato first, and clearing all the misconceptions surrounding his real level of strength and speed. Hokage Minato scales to, or slightly above Ym Obito, and that's pretty blatant. They were shown to be relative in speed throughout their fight. Obito could physically restrain him with his chains, and even touch him before Minato did in their last exchange. Obito was even able to take a Rasengan on his back, and get up right after with marginal injuries only. He lost his Zetsu arm, but that wasn't part of his body to begin with. It didn't have his durability. The only reason Obito even retreated was because he got marked by Minato's flying Raijin and his contract with Kurama was interrupted, not because he was slower or physically weaker than Minato. Even Minato himself admitted that Obito was no ordinary shinobi and that he struggled to make him retreat. Minato thought that Naruto would have needed to master Kurama's chakra in order to even stand against and hope to defeat Obito. That's important because Minato saw Sage Naruto fighting pain in live, but he still thought that he wasn't strong enough to beat the masked man. Now, the dialogue between Naruto and the raikage was extremely important in order to gauge Minato's strength. Naruto said two crucial things here. First one, Minato thought that with the Nine Tails power under control, Naruto would have been the only shinobi capable of defeating Obito. Second one, Minato knew that Madara was a serious threat and only someone with Nine Tails power under control could defeat him. Minato could barely defeat Obito, but not definitely. KCM1 Naruto was the one entrusted to finish the job that Minato couldn't 17 years prior. And no, with mastering Kurama's chakra, Minato didn't mean KCM2 Naruto. The context and narrative are very clear. Naruto trained on Turtle Island in order to master Kurama's chakra, and he did that. It's verbatim stated that KCM1 Naruto was keeping the Nine Tails under control, just like Minato thought. Meaning this was the form that would have defeated 14-year-old Obito had Naruto mastered it. Therefore, a form in which Naruto would have been more powerful than Minato, since Minato failed on defeating Obito for good. So yeah, that's where I think Hokage Minato scales, above Sage mode, but below KCM1 Naruto. Now that we saw where Minato scales realistically, let's quickly debunk the other metas people use to scale him. The first one, which is a crazy lowball, is basically Minato being weaker than post-Raisen's Hurricane training-based Naruto, since Naruto was able to rival his power with an incomplete Raisen's Hurricane. What people get wrong is the fact that Naruto's Raisen's Hurricane was rivaling Minato's power, and not based Naruto himself. Kakashi seeing Minato and Naruto after Naruto overpowered him with his incomplete Raisen's Hurricane doesn't mean he surpassed Minato overall. Multiple characters saw Minato and Naruto on very different occasions, but that's because each time Naruto unlocked something or a new form, he got better than Minato at something specifically, and not in every category. In this specific case, Naruto surpassed Minato by creating a jutsu that not even him was able to. Also, you know, Naruto having surpassed Minato in everything so early is massively inconsistent, especially when we know that Naruto needed to master Kurama's chakra in order to fight the Obito, who was relative to Minato. The insane thing about all of this is that the Raisen's Hurricane rivaled Minato's power, yes, but that Raisen's Hurricane Naruto used versus Kakuzu was only halfway completed, which is crazy. The second meta is still a lowball, but not as pronounced as the one we saw prior. You probably already know that, but the scaling goes like this. Naruto arrived at the battlefield before Pain was about to kill Tsunade and destroyed the Asura path with a single Rasengan. After that feat was performed, Fukasaku outright stated that Naruto had finally surpassed his predecessors, and obviously Hokage Minato was one of the persons included in that statement, alongside Sage Mode Jiraiya. Fukasaku explicitly made that statement after Naruto exerted a speed/strength feat, so there is no way he was referring to anything else, right? Well, not exactly. That statement contradicts what Minato himself said just 10 chapters later. We already saw that, but Minato watched Sage Naruto fight in pain, and still, he thought that wasn't enough, and he needed to master Kurama's chakra to match Obito. Obito was relative to Minato, meaning that Sage Naruto couldn't be stronger than Minato. The only possible answers to Fukasaka making that statement are essentially three. First, Fukasaka talked out of his ass and he didn't really know Minato's true strength, which is possible. Maybe Minato had less time to train at Mount Myoboku after he became Hokage. Second, Fukasaka's statement was referring to Naruto's mastery over Sage Mode. Naruto simply surpassed the other two in Sage Arts, which is very likely, considering he can enter Sage Mode without the help of Ma and Pa and hold it way longer than Minato. Third, Kishimoto simply retconned that statement 10 chapters later. He changed his mind, and he wanted Obito and Minato to be on another level compared to Naruto and Pain. Some people also use this B statement in order to lowball Minato. Basically, Killer B stated that a baby Mangekyo Sharingan Sasuke was the toughest enemy whom he ever fought. Since this Sasuke's version was confirmed to be weaker than Sage Mode Naruto, this statement would support Sage Naruto being above Hokage Minato. Killer B also fought Minato too in the past, but still, he thought that MS Sasuke was the tougher opponent. The problem with this Killer B statement is that it contradicts the narrative scaling we saw before of Minato and Obito being somewhere around KCM1 Naruto's level. And also, Killer B exclusively stated that Sasuke was the toughest enemy he ever fought. Tougher doesn't necessarily mean stronger. What Killer B most likely meant with that statement was the fact that no matter how many times he almost killed Sasuke, Sasuke was always back up moments later, ready to trade blows once again. Also, it's not like Killer B and Minato had that much of a fight either. The only time they interacted was when B pushed away I from Minato and when Minato tried to stab him from behind. Calling these two scenes a fight between the two is a bit ridiculous in my opinion. The third meta is a wank this time. It basically consists in Minato being KCM2 Naruto's level because Kakashi saw Minato and Naruto once he unlocked that mode and deflected 5 Bijou bombs. Now, we saw this already, but that cannot be possible since the narrative established that Naruto surpassed Yellow Mask Obito and therefore Minato once he perfectioned his KCM1 mode. KCM1 Naruto is the form which got compared to Minato the most, so it's more consistent that Hokage Minato was indeed on that level. People don't usually say that Naruto surpassed Minato after only learning a whack Raisin's Hurricane just because Kakashi saw Minato's image on him. Kakashi most likely saw Minato and Naruto because Naruto was stronger than him at that point, and he also was walking in front of him like his sensei did before dying. And also, let's not forget the resemblance. KCM2 Naruto seen from the back looked exactly like Hokage Minato. That's another reason as to why Kakashi saw him in Naruto. Let me ask you a question. If you really think that Hokage Minato was on KCM2 Naruto level, then consequently 14 years old Obito should have been on that level too, since they were kinda relative. Now, if Yellow Mask Obito was really on that level, why wasn't his 31 years old amp with the Rinnegan version able to load diff KCM2 Naruto? The Rinnegan amp was so big that Obito was starting to lose himself due to the power that he gained. But yet, he still wasn't that far away from KCM2 Naruto in terms of stats. Heck, Naruto was even giving him a hard time if we're being realistic. Let's not forget that. As for Minato being the fastest Hokage, that's absolutely bullshit, and people should stop saying that in Big 2024. Let me ask you a question. When was that statement made? Well, I'll answer that for you. After base Minato outran the other Hokage to the battlefield. Minato arriving before the other Hokage doesn't prove in any way, shape, or form that he has the fastest combat speed between them. It just proves that he has the fastest travel speed amongst them while spamming the body flicker, since that's what he did, ergo, running to the battlefield by using that jutsu consecutively. If you don't believe this, well, there's another way to prove that base Minato isn't the fastest Kage. The Naruto and Sasuke from the Jubato fight were way stronger than not only base Minato, but also KCM2 Minato. But the problem arises here. Even though Naruto and Sasuke were at their peak strength, excluding their 6 paths powers, they were still stated to be weaker than Edo Hashirama and Edo Madara respectively. This means that by being stronger than the Naruto and Sasuke who were above Minato in KCM2, Hashirama and Madara must have been relative/faster too, or else they would have not been considered the strongest characters up until that point. Tobirama was praised by Madara, whom stated that he boasted the fastest speed of any shinobi. We know that alive Madara is stronger than Edo Madara, and via that statement, Tobirama should have been faster than alive Madara. KCM Minato is weaker than Biju Sage Mode Naruto, who's weaker than a nerfed version of Hashirama, who is equal/barely stronger than Edo Madara. Hashirama and Madara, while alive with no Edo nerfs, would be even faster than all the characters mentioned, and as we appeared before, Tobirama is fast, at least slightly faster than all of them. Meaning that not only is alive Tobirama faster than base Minato, but he's also faster than KCM2 Minato, a Minato with a freaking half of Kurama inside of him. So yeah, as you can see, base Minato can't be faster than the other Kage when one is stronger, therefore faster too, than his KCM 2 amped version, and the other is massively faster than his KCM 2 amped version. And also, let's not forget that we have feats of base Hokage Minato's combat speed, and he's nowhere near the fastest Hokage since 14 Ym Obito was able to keep up with him in speed. 14 Ym Obito is a KCM1 Naruto victim, and Tobirama/Hashirama are way faster than KCM1 Naruto. Edo Madara reacted to a KCM2 Naruto attack casually, and Hashirama stalemated/defeated that same Madara. Let's also not forget about Hiruzen getting to the battlefield at the same time as Hashirama and Tobirama. Old man Hiruzen is obviously not as fast as them. It's pretty clear that was just a travel speed feat. You see, these Minato wanks are utter garbage. The character is pretty good writing-wise, but strength-wise, he gets overrated to the oblivion. Now, let's start the Itachi scaling and see if he could really win this matchup. After Itachi fans overhyped this man for more than a decade, from some time now, many people have started to believe that he's overrated and he's not that strong. But they couldn't be more wrong, since Itachi is at least a top 2 Akatsuki member, and for me, even top 1. Now, let me explain why. Even as an 8-year-old kid, Itachi was already cracked. When him and his team met Obito, Itachi was able to partially resist his genjutsu. Keep in mind that Itachi didn't have a Sharingan when he performed this feat. Later, during the Uchiha clan massacre, and just at the age of 13, Itachi was already considered a threat to Obito. The two had to come to an agreement because they both feared to fight against each other. Keep in mind that the Itachi who threatened Obito was still very inexperienced with his Mangekyo, and he didn't even have the Susanoo yet, since he unlocked his MS just some moments prior to the Uchiha clan massacre. And most importantly, keep in mind that the Obito scared to fight against Itachi was the same that demonstrated relativity to Hokage Minato. Therefore, Itachi at 13 already had the physical stats to at least contend with Minato. Heck, this Obito version should even be stronger than the one Minato fought, since time had passed and he could have trained to become stronger. Now, let's not waste any more time with this novel segment and see that if in the manga, Itachi was really so strong, like the novel said. Even in the manga, Itachi had many important statements that people often overlook. Let's check them. The first is the one of Obito saying that if Itachi knew everything about him, he would have been dead. Obviously, this is in context to Obito surviving Itachi Amaterasu thanks to his Izanagi, something that Itachi didn't know Obito had. But an important feat is still present. Obito saw the pattern of Itachi Mangekyo Sharingan forming into Sasuke's eye. However, the moment the Amaterasu was launched, Obito couldn't physically get out of its way, nor activate the Kamui to phase through the flames. The only thing that he was able to do was to slightly move his head, but the flames still got him in the end. This proves that Obito is not fast enough in order to dodge Itachi Amaterasu. Now, he still has the Kamui to phase through the flames after they hit him, but if Itachi can stall him for 5 minutes, which is the Kamui's time limit, he would surely kill him. And let's not forget that Obito needs to materialize himself in order to suck things into his Kamui, so if Obito tries to absorb the flames, Itachi can kill him in that moment or seal him with the Totsuka blade. The second statement is Obito saying to Zetsu that Itachi, their so-called eyesore, was finally gone, and only at that moment they could finally proceed with their plans since Konoha wasn't off limits anymore. Well, this is a no-brainer. If Obito is really stronger than Itachi, why didn't he kill him before, instead of waiting so many years and maintaining a pact with him to not harm the leaf? It's not like Sasuke was even a variable when the two of them made that pact years and years prior in the timeline. So, yeah, if Obito was that much stronger than Itachi, he could have simply killed him in order to fasten his plans, but he didn't because he wasn't. And don't say that Obito went to such lengths in order to gain a strong ally to hunt Bijous, since for once, Obito was strong enough to do that alone, and for second, Itachi never even hunted a Bijou/Jinchuriki, except for Yagura, if you count the filler as canon, but that's another story. The third, it's not a statement, but a feat, and it's not from the manga, but from a film. Bear with me. I don't know if you ever watched the Naruto movies, but there's a film named Naruto Road to Ninja, which surprisingly enough, can be considered canon. The Road to Ninja movie was actually released as a one-shot in republication of Naruto's manga volume 61. Other than that, it was also published in the 4th data book. It is stated that unlike the other Naruto movies, Kishimoto was directly involved with its production, and the script or story itself of the movie comes from the man himself. Now, why is this film so important? Well, because near the end of it, Obito and Itachi had a direct confrontation, and it didn't end well for Obito. When the two met, Itachi was ready to fight, and to put him on fire, kinda like he wanted to do with Sasuke in the manga. Obito, however, after saying that Itachi could put even him on fire if he focused his mind into it, decided to retreat immediately. Once again, there are no secret interpretations here. Kishimoto himself said that Itachi Amaterasu could have put Obito on fire, which, by the way, we have the proof of it in the manga, and that Obito feared Itachi so much that he avoided a fight against him for another time. The fourth and last supplementary statement comes from the games. Kishimoto worked on them, so it's not outlandish to say that it has some sort of credibility. As you can see here, Obito stated that no opponent was worthy of Itachi, not even Sasuke. Obito and Itachi were kinda opponents/rivals, therefore, Obito most likely included himself in that statement, indirectly admitting his inferiority to Itachi. And it doesn't end here for Itachi, since other than statements, he also has pretty solid feats that would pretty much put him above Orange Mask Obito comfortably. Let's start by the fact that Edo Itachi is actually weaker than his alive version. Tobirama stated that Kabuto's Edo Tensei brought back the dead shinobi almost at their full strength, but not totally. So, by default, Edo Itachi should be weaker than alive sick Itachi. And no, Itachi illness didn't nerf his stats. Zetsu and Obito purposefully told that Itachi was holding back, and that he could have easily killed Sasuke if he wanted to. It wasn't like his illness was nerfing him to being just slightly above hebi Sasuke's level. The only problems with sick Itachi were his eyesight, that was fading away, and his stamina, which people over-exaggerate, since at the end of the day, Itachi was able to outlast hebi Sasuke in their fight. And keep in mind the fact that Itachi had also used way more chakra-taxing jutsu than Sasuke, such as 1 Tsukiyomi, the first Amaterasu, the second Amaterasu, which he kept up longer in order to chase Sasuke with it. The first Susanoo activation to block the Kirin, the second Susanoo activation, which he used to clap Orochimaru's Hydra form, the Totsuka blade to seal Orochimaru, and lastly, the Yata mirror, used to block a chain of paper bombs from Sasuke. So yeah, saying that Itachi's stamina was trash is simply outrageous, since he outlasted Sasuke, which isn't a character with low levels of chakra/stamina. Now, I think it's time to start with his Edo feats, which would be even crazier once stacked upon his sick version. Y'all should know this feat by now, but basically, Itachi with just his base Sharingan active was able to fight a taijutsu battle with KCM Naruto. Many people say that Naruto was holding back in that exchange, since he was talking with Itachi while fighting him, but that argument is straight up ridiculous. Naruto talked to any villain that he fought while they were exchanging blows, so where's the difference here? Your bias against Itachi? There's even the statement at the back of volume 58 where it's stated that Naruto may had to take Itachi down once and for all. It doesn't make sense that Naruto was holding back against an enemy whom he had to put down. Also, are we forgetting that some pages later, Itachi was about to kill Base Killer B and Base B actually scales to KCM1 Naruto? Now, at the bare minimum, Itachi scales to KCM1 Naruto and Base Killer B, but his feats as an Edo Tensei do not end here. Edo Itachi was able to blind Nagato's summonings before they could perceive him, and one-shot/seal and amped Edo Nagato some moments later in the fight. This is the same Edo Nagato that just some moments prior was actually playing with Naruto and Killer B. After the fight against Nagato, Itachi went on to fight against Kabuto, someone who was even stronger than Edo Nagato. And keep in mind that Itachi fought against him while also holding back since he needed Kabuto to be alive in order to dispel the Edo Tensei Jutsu. Before going over their fight, it's important to address the databook statement about EMS Sasuke having better ninjutsu and eye techniques than Itachi. That statement doesn't prove in any way that EMS Sasuke was stronger than Edo Itachi overall. Having better ninjutsu doesn't necessarily mean that you are stronger than someone. For example, Jonin Kakashi had way more ninjutsu in his arsenal than Hokage Minato. However, Hokage Minato was way stronger than him. Likewise, for having eye techniques, Naruto didn't have no Byakugan, but still, he was able to defeat Neji in a 1 vs 1. What Kishimoto meant with better ninjutsu and eye abilities is most likely Sasuke being able to control his Amaterasu thanks to his Kagutsuchi. Considering that Itachi has the Tsukiyomi, a one-shot move, it would be impossible to think that said statement was referring to their eyes' abilities in general. As for their ninjutsu, I think that a Susanoo arrow coated in black flames is better than any ninjutsu Itachi has, so yeah, at least there, the databook statement is agreeable. The statement about EMS Sasuke having surpassed Itachi in strength overall gets also contradicted by direct feats. In their fight against Kabuto, Itachi was always the one ahead, giving orders to Sasuke and protecting him on multiple occasions. As you can see, this is the first instance in which Itachi reacted faster than Sasuke and also had to protect him. That's the second time that Itachi was able to react faster than Sasuke and protect him from Kabuto's assault. This is the third time, which isn't Itachi reacting faster than /saving Sasuke, but still, he was also the one to set up their trump card, the Izanami, in order to defeat Kabuto. Now, I'm not saying that Itachi was way stronger than EMS Sasuke, but still, he was one step ahead of him, and he also had better hacks and abilities at his disposal. Itachi being equal or slightly above EMS Sasuke is very important for our scaling. After his fight against Kabuto, Sasuke joined the war without doing any training, nor having an important power-up in between. And guess what? Sasuke was shown to be equal to mastered KCM1 Naruto, and not KCM1 Naruto only. The duo was able to throw their special attacks at the same time and move at a comparable speed. And that doesn't even end here. In the two instances above, Sasuke was probably still not going all out. Some chapters later, during the fight against unstable Obito, Sasuke was able to react to one of his attacks and block it with the Susanoo. This is extremely important for two main reasons. The first one is that Sasuke had way better reaction timing and speed than mastered KCM1 Naruto. The second one is that Sasuke was also able to outspeed KCM1 Minato. Okay, Minato was dazed at that point in time, but he was still in KCM1, and his daze wasn't that exaggerated, since he could still fight and formulate plans. Just some moments later in their fight, after Obito became stable, and he was about to blow Naruto, Sasuke and Minato up, Sasuke was able to once again outperform mastered KCM1 Naruto. Before Naruto could move or react to the exploding truth-seeking orb, Sasuke was already covering his body with the Susanoo arm. Like, it's pretty obvious at that point that Sasuke was above him. In the same chapter, before Sasuke and Naruto were about to combine their jutsu, Sasuke stated that he was going to lower his chakra in order to match the one of Naruto. So yeah, once again, Sasuke was literally telling Naruto that he was about to lower his power so that they could combine their jutsu flawlessly and hit Obito with it. Now, this is the most reasonable scaling for Ym Sasuke, but you can rat and get him even higher by using what I'm about to show you. Before engaging in his last battle against Obito, Naruto was being supported by Minato, whom was sharing his Kurama's chakra to him. He was sharing so much of that to Naruto that he even reverted back to his base form moments later. On the other hand, Sasuke had only the basic Nine Tails cloak powering him up. If we dig in a little deeper, you can actually see that Naruto was also amped by the Sage mode. Meanwhile, Sasuke was amped just by its bootleg version, the Curse Mark. So, considering everything, Sasuke had less amps than Naruto, but still, he was equal to him, therefore stronger. We can go even further by saying that the Curse Mark wasn't amping Sasuke himself, but just his Susanoo. When Jugo was giving Sasuke the Curse Mark, he wasn't passing it to Sasuke himself, but just to his Susanoo, as it's stated and shown right here. That means Sasuke himself wasn't getting amped by the Curse Mark, but still, he could fight alongside Bija's Sage Mode Naruto, demonstrating the same speed and reaction timing. To put that into perspective, Sasuke had just this tiny Kurama cloak, amping his body's capabilities. Meanwhile, Naruto had the massive chakra of another Kurama, plus his Sage Mode stacked onto his body. Now, we've seen where Minato and Itachi scales at, so let's see who would win in an actual fight between the two of them. Taijutsu. Itachi is far superior to Minato in this regard. We don't even have taijutsu feats of Minato. Meanwhile, Itachi could box with KCM1 Naruto while not even going all out. AP. We can say that Minato has more AP since he was able to severely injure a KCM Naruto threat. However, the Amaterasu was stated to be the strongest physical attack. And as shown at the end of the series, unless you are an Otsutsuki that can take a bath in it, for every other human character, resisting it would be impossible. Also yeah, Itachi isn't a character who needs some sort of good attack potency in order to kill his opponents. His arsenal literally consists in killing you with hacks abilities, such as the Tsukiyomi and the Totsuka Blade. The only thing that Itachi needs in order to connect such hacks is speed, precisely, to not get blitzed before having the chance to activate them. So yeah, Minato has more AP through jutsu, but Itachi hacks would scale his AP higher. Speed. Speaking of speed, if you've watched this video up until now, the answer should be clear. Minato is vastly overrated in this regard, being relative to only Yellow Mask Obito, whom, as we saw prior, should have gotten destroyed by KCM Naruto had they fought in a battle. On the other hand, Itachi could keep up with that same KCM1 Naruto while also holding back. And he also scales over Ym Sasuke, who had better feats than mastered KCM1 Naruto, and even KCM2/Bija Sage Mode Naruto if you rat. Hacks and abilities. This is so easy, Itachi negs and it's not even close. The Rasengan can't do shit to Itachi Susanoo, and the Flying Thunder God would be easily countered by Itachi, but I'll get into that later on. I'm not even going to talk about his Sage Mode, since it's kinda whack, as stated by himself, and it doesn't last that much at all. Also, he doesn't even have feats in Sage Mode, so yeah. Itachi has just way better hacks, from normal genjutsu to the Tsukiyomi, which is an insta-kill jutsu when used to its full capabilities, to the Amaterasu, which Minato has no counter to. Once hit by it, the only way for Minato to deal with it would be by dodging it before getting hit. And also, let's not forget about the Totsuka Blade and the Yada Mirror. One touch of the Totsuka would be enough to seal Minato for eternity, and with the Yada Mirror, each and every of Minato's attack would be rendered useless. IQ and Battle IQ. It's useless wasting time here, since they are both some of the smartest characters in the show. No one would really be able to outsmart the other, it would simply be a battle won by stats and hack/abilities. If you want to select a true winner, you can say Minato takes this department, since not only he did better than Itachi in the written tests of the Chunin exams, but he basically held the record overall. I wouldn't use that Minato was able to decipher the secrets of the Kamui and counter it after Sekon's argument, since Itachi too was able to set up a trap that would have killed Obito, but sadly for him, Obito had the Izanagi to prevent his death. Durability. Their base durability is kinda ass. One got damaged by a giant shuriken and the other by a wooden splinter. However, the giant shuriken was thrown by Sasuke, and even then, Itachi has the Susanoo, which can make up for his low durability, plus the Yadamira, which speaks for itself. So yeah, the durabilities category goes to Itachi without question. Stamina/endurance. Minato takes this department very easily. Now, I'm not a bot saying that Itachi has bad stamina, since as we saw before, he has a very good amount of it, often underrated by the fans. However, Minato is a cut above him, from sustaining the 8 tetragram seal during the entire period of childbirth so that Kurama couldn't force himself out, to using the flying Raijin 10 times, and 2 of those times were to teleport a Bijou bomb from Kurama himself. And lastly, to summoning the Reaper Death Seal and sealing one half of Kurama inside of him, and the other one inside of Naruto. Weapons/Shuriken Jutsu. This is the reason as to why I said that the Flying Thunder God would be pretty useless in this matchup. Itachi and his clan members in general are very skilled Shuriken and Kunai users. It wouldn't be too hard for Itachi to deflect all the kunai thrown by Minato, and by doing so, blocking one of his strongest jutsu, plus half of his combo/moveset. Experience. This is easy. Experience goes to Minato without the shadow of a doubt. Even though they both died very young and at a similar age, Minato accomplished way more mission than Itachi, since he never fled from Konoha, and he was actually one of the top shinobi in the rankings. Even though Itachi enrolled in the academy way earlier than Minato did, we have no idea how many missions he completed once he went rogue and joined the Akatsuki. Now, how would a fight between them play out? Well, let's see. For starters, Minato is already at a disadvantage since he can't even look at his opponent's eyes directly, but just at its feats. And still, that doesn't grant him immunity from being ensnared in a genjutsu, since Itachi can put his opponents under genjutsu just by using his fingers. Let's say that Itachi would be unable to put him under genjutsu. Minato would surely try to mark the territory with his special kunai, kinda like he did versus the 4th raikage. However, as we saw before, Itachi should be able to easily repel all of his kunai and basically block his FTG/majority of his combos. With the FTG out of the way, Minato would be forced to fight Itachi in a taijutsu battle or hit him with a Rasengan in order to win. However, as we appeared before, Itachi has way better taijutsu than Minato. He's also stronger, faster, and there's nothing that a Rasengan would do to him, since the Susanoo/Yadamira would block it pretty easily. As you can see, the thing in which Minato excels at, speed, sadly isn't a winning factor in this matchup, since Itachi-based speed is greater and Minato has no way to play with his FTG. With his Rasengan also being useless, due to the Susanoo and Yadamira's great defenses, I don't see any way in which Minato could win this matchup. Not even his seals would do any good in this fight since we have poor knowledge about them, and Itachi isn't a Bijou that can be sealed with the classic 8 tetragram seal. The only thing Minato could go for is the Reaper Death Seal Jutsu, but that would also cause his death too, ending this fight in a draw. And well, it's also very questionable if Minato would win a tug-of-war battle against Itachi, since, as I proved before, Itachi is physically stronger than him. On the other hand, Itachi has plenty of ways to defeat Minato, be it the Amaterasu, the Tsukiyomi, or the Totsuka Blade. Just one hit of either of them, and Minato would be done for. To conclude this video, Minato isn't weak, but he's clearly overrated in the Naruto community. Itachi is pretty much stronger overall, and he has the perfect kit to counter his whole arsenal of hacks and abilities. So yeah, Itachi is the true winner of this matchup. If you have any video ideas, feel free to comment them down below, and maybe I'll consider making videos on the topics you would like to see. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like/share the video if you want to support me and get more quality and frequent contents. From Borutonegz is everything for this video. See you next time guys, and have a good day. Peace out.